the podcast exclusively for association executives and members. Each week, Jeff interviews association executives about their victories, igniting new ideas for you to create greater value for your members. And now, Jeff Tippett.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Tippett. I'm grateful that you joined us for today's episode of Victory by Association. Today's show is brought to you by Targeted Persuasion, Public Affairs, and Communications. When your association has a policy prescription you're trying to advance or stop, you need the power of targeted persuasion, helping you build a successful grassroots campaign designed to move legislators and other elected officials. When you need to win, you need targeted persuasion. Learn more at targetedpersuasion.com and check out our show notes for the link. Today, I'm excited to welcome our special guest, Isabella Villagarcia. Oh, my apologies, Villagarcia. Apologize for that. Hey, Isabella, thanks for joining the show today. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about one of my passions, associations. My whole career has been association world, so happy to advance.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You know, I speak professionally and associations are my number one area. So we both share that love of the value that they bring. So we're going to have a great time. Well, tell us up front just a little bit. Give us some context. Talk to us a little bit about your association and what you guys do and the types of members that you help.
Sure. So my role is Director of Government Affairs for the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association. So we represent hotels and restaurants and some bars all across the state. So we have a lot of members with a lot of different needs and a lot of industry movement and economic movement in the state. And so that means there is a lot of issues, particularly legislative issues, that we deal with and get involved with, which is under my purview along with our legislative team to ensure that we protect our industry.
Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm putting two and two together because I worked with your predecessor on the Free the Mimosa campaign. And I am a fanboy of your CEO. I mean, she just amazing to me. So, oh my gosh, now I'm even more excited for this conversation. So let's get it before we go into delving into something you want to talk about. Tell me a little bit about you. Something interesting, something that most people might not know or might not find on your LinkedIn profile.
Sure. I am half Peruvian, half American, and I speak 3 languages, English, Spanish, and French. I background in international studies in French in college, so nothing to do with politics. Stumbled into it interning at the General Assembly and became obsessed with politics, and here I am today. I am a big opera buff, so that's something you won't find on my LinkedIn. The arts in general, huge supporter, but the opera in particular has my heart. So.
Well, fantastic. Okay, well, I am blown away with the 3 languages. That one is still has me. That's just amazing that your brain functions. And the arts, that's amazing. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm a classically trained pianist. My undergraduate degree is in music. And so I have played on stages all over. So, hey, we've got a little connection here over this music thing.
Are you playing at the end of the interview?
That's right. Maybe I should bring out the piano and switch over to that. Yeah, that's just fantastic. Well, oh my gosh, the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association, and I've worked, for the National Restaurant Association. So, I've had a chance to understand restaurant associations across the country, and you guys are just the best. I mean, you are right up there with the associations, the state associations, the SRAs that are just blowing it out of the water. So, wow, we're going to have a great conversation. Well, talk to me a little bit about what you would like to talk about today, some of victory and success, and let's kind of drill down and see how you got there.
Sure. So, this year, I'm partial to the legislative side. We have so much going on. Every association isn't just the advocacy piece, even though that's a huge part of it. It's membership education. We also have a foundation that is dedicated to workforce development in our industry, which is one of the major problems that I hear from my members across the state, is being able to hire good people and just fill the jobs that they have in the industry. So our foundation works directly with students in over 50 different schools across the state to give what is called ProStart. And it's a very hands-on, industry-driven program that is nationally credentialed for students all across North Carolina. And we actually secured a matching grant from the legislature and the appropriations process for that program. So that's one of those things where associations, you have separate parts of it, but they were all work together to help the industry as a whole. And so that foundation is separate from us, but it's part of what we do. And we're doing a lot of great work all across the board. But we have had an exceptional legislative year and following up on the brunch bill that you helped us with on expanding that alcohol reform in North Carolina, which is a huge nut to crack. And we still have more work to do because now we're trying to free the spirits as a follow-up from Free the Mimosa and really work towards privatizing the entire ABC system. But we got some great reforms in the meantime for our members, including electronic payment, believe it or not. Our members had to pay cash or certified check for their enormous orders for liquor for their hotels or restaurants. They also had to send one of their employees to the actual store or warehouse, just like you and I have to do to pick up massive orders, could not be delivered like beer and wine. So we were able to get that changed as well. And then if you or anyone wanted to do a special order of a very novelty liquor or something that wasn't in the store, you had to purchase a full case of that, which is a fairly substantial financial investment, depending on what you're ordering. And now you only have to do one bottle. So slowly chipping away, but that was a huge success for our team, myself, Margot Metzger, who is also one of our lobbyists, and Frank Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. You have an amazing team over there. Well, let's chat about a couple of these pieces. First of all, let's talk a little bit about, and I had a chance to see this myself, and I think that's maybe why I'm connecting a little bit more to this, but the whole ProStart and the work that you guys do in workforce development. When I had the contract with the National Restaurant Association, I quickly learned what an industry of opportunity the restaurant industry is. And, I saw people who maybe even didn't graduate from high school, maybe had a criminal background, and they got in and maybe they even just started washing dishes, and then they end up owning the restaurant, over time. And there was just like the barrier to entry was so low, the commitment to improving and really giving people the space. If you're willing to get in there and put your hands in and do the work, your industry is amazing. But the ProStart, I got to see some of that as well. And the commitment at the high school level to help develop these skills early on for students, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And that is one of the things I really love about our industry is that ability to give opportunity both on the hotel and restaurant side. We have people that have worked the front desk that quickly go to being the general manager, and you show people that there is a career in this industry if you work hard and put your time in, and you can love it. And it's a very different industry where you get to engage with people and be on your feet and not, sedentary. It's very flexible. We've heard of parents that one parent does the day shift, one parent does the night shift. So it gives people flexibility and options, to do whatever best fits their lifestyle. So it really is an industry of opportunity, and the ProStart program is a huge part of that, and showing students at, in the high school years that this is a real career path if they so choose. And it also starts them on the North Carolina Community College Promise tuition apprenticeship program. So they can go through that program and then have community college paid for as well.
Absolutely. And I love what I'm seeing today in our world and coming up for me. And I have no regrets, the path that I took. I went to graduate school. I went to undergraduate school. There was a lot of expense. There was a lot of time that was put into it. And for some people and what they want to do in life, it's extremely important and they need that. For other people, that's not exactly the right path for them. And having an understanding, hey, it's okay in life if this is your path, and we salute you, because I want to go to a great restaurant and have a fantastic meal. So the path that you choose, you don't need to choose my path, and realize the path that you've chosen is fantastic. And I love that we're valuing that more in our society today.
Absolutely. And I will say, workforce development is something that the legislature is really trying to take on and promote and say, not everyone, needs to go to a four-year college. Right. We have different career options. It's not the right fit for everything. If it is for you, that's great. If it's not, here's, 10 other options. Here's 100 other options of careers for you. And so we really are excited about partnering, in our K-12 system and our community colleges to promote our industry.
That's fantastic. Well, let's wrap up. One last little question here before we start closing this thing down, talk to me a little bit about, because a lot of our people that are listening to this show here do depend upon legislative work to find success for their members. What works for you as you're working, building relationships? Like, what are you finding is helping you to create success? Because I hear you talk and I hear success. How are you getting there? Like, what is working for you?
Yeah. And it's funny because, every association that I've worked for, I started my career with the School Boards Association, then worked for the Realtors, and then was in DC for the Association of Global Automakers. And so each one of those associations had a different power base that they drew from. So whether that was their members or the industry they represented or their ability to mobilize grassroots, each one had a different power base that if you tap into that and exactly keenly aware of what that is, you can be super successful at the legislature. And for us, our economic impact and our members, the jobs that they're creating, that's what our influence is drawn from. Now, I will say we have a great lobbying team as well. Kudos to us as well, and Frank, who is our contract lobbyist. But it is that engagement. We had an issue this year on short-term rental legislation that we really engaged our members at the grassroots level and got our hotelier members very involved and engaged in making calls and emails. And that really, when you can basically, build up the inbox of a legislator with grassroots, that is going to make all the change in the world if they're from their district. So you have to have, very sophisticated software to be able to do that effectively. But that will move the needle for sure.
Absolutely. So I think the key takeaway right here is understand what your power base is, and yours might be different than what another industry is, what another group is doing. So understand yourself. And I did, just so you know, I think it was last week, the show that released last week, I had a lobbyist from the AHLA on the show, and they were talking about you guys and how amazing you are for the hoteliers in the state of North Carolina. So DC was giving you guys a great shout out for your work there as well. Well, let me ask you a question here as we kind of wrap this thing up.
Sure.
We have a lot of association executives that listen to this show. What takeaway would you give? Pick any one topic from maybe even something that failed for you. But what's one little bit of knowledge that you would like to leave with those?
Sure. I think that, having a diverse and robust association, and whereas I'm biased towards the government affairs, I think it all really does play in together to show that value for your members, because not every member is going to see the need for government affairs. They might be looking for, education. They might be looking for the charitable foundation piece. Really talk to your members, get to know them. Those connections are just as and even more valuable than your legislative connections, and make sure that you are meeting the needs of your members, because if there's that disconnect, your association is going to fall to pieces.
Yeah, fantastic. Isabel, you've given us some great nuggets of knowledge here today. So I'm grateful. I appreciate that. So if someone listening today wants to reach out and find you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Sure. My email is the easiest way. If you go to ncrla.org, you will find my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions or take any emails or calls.
Fantastic. Well, this has been like a real treat to have the opportunity to talk with someone from the NCRLA. You guys are a powerhouse. I'm grateful, just as a citizen of the state of North Carolina, I am so grateful for the work that you guys do. So I extend personal gratitude and thanks for you. So thank you for being the guest. Thank you for sharing. Thanks to everyone for listening. My special gift to you today is a free chapter from my book, Unleashing Your Superpower. This chapter is on messaging. And I believe that this is the first place with associations or in business or even talking about regulations where we drop the ball is not understanding how to craft a message. So this chapter gives you a 4-step proven system. It's yours free for just texting the word persuade to 66866, persuade to 66866. Thanks you again. All of you. Thanks, Isabella. And I'll see you again next week as we discover another victory by association.
Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Victory by Association with Jeff Tippett. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe, rate, and review. Be sure to check out the show notes for links relating to this episode. For information about becoming a sponsor or guest, please email podcast@jefftippett.com.